Ms. Poole, we certainly appreciate it. Where's our quorum? Here they go.
2, 3, 6.
Thank you. 5, okay. We would like to welcome a very special guest that's in the audience tonight, and I learned this just about a minute ago. Mr. Antoine Steele, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you so very much. We're so proud of you. Mr. Steele was once one of our student board members, and we certainly, it's always a pleasure to see you. And we understand you had a very successful year and more prosperous next year. Thank you. And also, we would like to welcome any public officials, or if there are any in the audience. We ask that you stand at this time and be recognized.
Dominic.
Say Councilman Dominique, just entering. We would like to say welcome, sir. Anyone else? If not, and those others that will come in later, we will recognize them at the appropriate time. At this time, we will hear our student member board report. Ms. Poole?
Good evening, Board Chairman Reporter, Vice Chairman North, Dr. Register, board members. My report this evening will be highlighting some events in which TMAC has participated in. Our March meeting included presentations from Mr. Al Bodie and Mr. Jim Burnett, entrepreneur and business consultant. Our presenters provided us with the insight on the value of education and job experience. They shared their stories of the road to their success and the many lessons they learned along the way. We concluded the meeting with the question and answer session that provided us with further insight of their experiences. Our April meeting included training on developing leadership skills by Susan Ragsdale and Ann Saylor from the YMCA Center for Asset Development. The topic was Change Your World, Caring School Climate, in which we discussed the importance of creating a positive school climate through service projects. We also worked on identifying our spark on the subject of our passion and using that knowledge in our role as leaders. This month, our meeting will be held at East Literature Magnet High School, where we will discuss the presentations and trainings that were held for the year, and we will also begin preparing and brainstorming for next school's year's event. And then I just want to say a few words. I guess this is my last board meeting. But first off, I do want to thank Ms. Stephanie Davis, who actually isn't here. She's in a meeting in California. She's been my mentor and advisor over the 2 years, and she presented me with this opportunity about 2 years ago, in which I was able to serve my fellow students in my school and my community. But to hold such a title as board member has been such an honor. To sit amongst you all has been a privilege, and I've been able to give you good news on the students that you pledged to serve. And although I speak few words at times, there's so much power in it. And I've gained so much while I've been here. I had the opportunity to have a fellow student board member last year, Mr. Antoine Steele, but unfortunately we didn't have one this year. But I would like to encourage those ambitious and determined students to seek out this opportunity, because it's life-changing. But I have learned so much, and you guys have been so gracious and so kind, and I wish you all well and many future successes. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To our audience here tonight and our viewing audience, I would like to take this opportunity to say to Ms. Poole, thank you so very much for what you have brought to this school system and also to the Board of Education. Those of us that have been members here for the past couple of years, we have nothing but good to say about our student board members that join us every year. And we want you to know that we appreciate the ambassadorship that you have displayed throughout the state of Tennessee and then some. And we hope that the experience that you have had with this prestigious school system, we want you to know that we wish you the very best, and we're here to support you in every way possible. So at this time, I'm going to ask if you would come forth, and Mr. Steele, if you would come forth and help us with our presentation to Ms. Poole. So on behalf of the Metropolitan Nashville Public School System and all of the students and all that have gone before you, we want you to know that we think that you are the best.
Thank you.
And this is a little token of appreciation that we hope that will help you in your endeavors as you really find what you have been searching for in that wonderful, wonderful college career.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's picture time. Thank you.
Did you finish?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Keel, if you would come forth and memoriam.
Tonight, I would like for us to remember Hillary Taylor Parks Lane. Miss Lane, the elementary music teacher at Whitsett Elementary School since 1997, passed away on April 26, 2012 at the age of 43 after complications from surgery. Hillary will be remembered with happiness by so many, including her family and friends, as well as her MNPS colleagues and the teachers and students and community members of Whitsett School. Hillary graduated from John Overton High School and attended Indiana University, where she received a BS in music and a BS in journalism. She completed her graduate study and certification in music education from Belmont University. Hillary's talent in music thrived at Overton High School, where she was an all-state band clarinetist and a proud member of the Johnny O Marching Band. At Indiana University, Hillary completed her master's degree, which culminated in her final clarinet recital of classical works. Hillary was the diving coach at Sequoia Swim Club for 25 years, where she continued to be a positive influence on the lives of children and became a cornerstone in the Nashville Diving League. Her life was filled with music and laughter. We could have a few moments to remember Miss Lane. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Keel. At this time, as a part of our public participation, the board will hear from those persons who have requested to appear at this board meeting. In the interest of time, speakers are requested to limit remarks to 3 minutes or less. Comments will be timed. And also, ladies and gentlemen, as you come forth to make your comments, please state your name, even though it will be it will be on the monitor. If you would like to share any other information about yourself or anything else, remember it will be considered as a part of your 3 minutes allocated. If you would please line up in groups of 5 as you approach the podium. I am also asking, as the 5th person approaches to the podium, the next group of 5 will take their places and so on. So at this time, our first 5, and your names will go as they are on the monitor. If you would, please take your places at the podium. Yes, you may begin.
My name is Anne Marie Farmer, and I am the parent of a Metro student. I'm also one of the parents here tonight asking you to insist that Great Hearts Charter School Company present a specific and enforceable plan for diversity before you consider its charter application. Great Hearts has filed an application unlike any that has previously been presented to Metro. Every other charter applicant states the geographic area in which it seeks to locate, so the board can evaluate whether the school will serve a need in that area and how it will impact the district as a whole. Great Hearts will not tell us where its first or subsequent schools will be, although the application states, as noted in our letter of intent, we are currently focusing our efforts in the West Nashville area. West Nashville is too vague to allow for evaluation. Without stating its locations, Great Hearts leaves the district unable to evaluate its proposal or determine whether the school will serve a diverse student body. Strikingly, Great Hearts is not seeking simply to open a charter school. It's asking for public money and authority to open 5 K-5 schools over a 5-year period of time, with the location of those schools to be determined by the private company at its sole discretion. This is completely unacceptable. The board has no way of knowing if these intended schools will be located in areas where the program is needed, and the blanket authority to open these schools does not depend on the company's performance or whether each school serves a diverse population. Great Hearts boosters have pointed to Metro's academic magnet schools to claim that lottery enrollment without transportation will produce a diverse school. This conveniently leaves out the intentional steps this board has taken to promote diversity at these schools. Every academic magnet is located in a neighborhood where it is accessible to low-income students. You have also created feeder patterns into these schools for middle schools with high numbers of minority and low-income students. Great Hearts should set forth what its goals and strategies are for achieving diversity and accessibility at every one of its schools. Its application claims that it wants to educate a diverse group of students and that its mission is to close the achievement gap. Therefore, Great Hearts should embrace the idea of working with the school board to meet those goals. The school board best understands Nashville, and your wisdom is critical to direct school locations, marketing plans, and transportation options. It is unacceptable to leave those tools, which can be used to create either a diverse student body or an exclusive one, at the complete discretion of a private company that can have an incentive to seek out high-scoring students. Warm and fuzzy statements about diversity without specific, enforceable, written policies are not enough. We ask that Great Hearts amend its application, and we are hopeful that Great Hearts and similar future applicants will be willing to cooperate with Metro in developing plans to guarantee that their schools will serve all. If any applicant is not willing to do so, we should all question why. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Register, board members. I am Chris Moth, and I have 2 children in neighborhood public schools. I see the hard work you do to cobble together funding to educate all our 80,000 kids. You're all magicians. Several leaders have suggested we bring in GHA because West Nashville schools are overcrowded. Our schools are not overcrowded, they're underbuilt. Let's celebrate our growth and work some more magic. Let's at least put our capital needs on the homepage while the council is talking tax increases. Maybe we need a petition for new schools. My son is fortunate to walk to JT Moore Middle. Bright students at JTM have great test scores, but still, some of his school friends are leaving this year. They leave simply because you market the academic magnets as the best, and your lottery's coronation of winners makes parents feel they are in the club. It is impossible for our dedicated principal and committed parents to compete with this. With GHA, it will only get worse. When you open Great Hearts in West Nashville, JTM will do what California schools are already doing, and will apply for all the same appealing waivers you are giving GHA. We'll all be living in a bad Hollywood production of that book, The Steeches. In our Hollywood version, a well-spoken man comes into town from a western state. He sees parents buying magnet lottery tickets for $3, and he realizes he can make a lot more money selling $10 chances to his charter school. All the rich parents frenetically drive their kids around town, running away from poor kids. The man gets rich with his lottery ticket printing machine, parents get poor, and test scores go nowhere, just like test scores have gone nowhere across Phoenix. Let's skip the foolishness and turn to the last page of the Sneetches, where we are all out of money and must try to work together. We all want exactly the same things for our kids: a great education with tough discipline, committed teachers, challenging curriculum, and a clear path to college. Fellow parents, I appreciate your enthusiasm for a GHA without diversity, but there are going to be very few lottery slots even if GHA comes. Before you walk away from your local schools, please at least visit your schools and talk to other parents who are making them work. Use that amazing petition list you have assembled to link up 200 or 300 families online. Return to school together and demand academic rigor. It's hard work, but you absolutely can transform your local schools. Ladies and gentlemen on the board, granting the GHA charter application without a diversity amendment is a big step in the wrong direction for Nashville and an affront to 40 years of hard-won social progress in this city. Please do not cave to outside pressure from powerful folks whose kids have never set foot in a public school. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Dr. Register, distinguished board, my name is Chris Koutras. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening, and my condolences go out to the Lane family. As a 1983 graduate of John Overton High School, former state champion football player and the son of Nick Koutras, I carry with me a strong sense of pride in being able to call Overton home. I was literally raised in the school, whether it was on an athletic field, classroom, or in the gym. Many older alumni call me Little Chris, but unfortunately I'm not little anymore. It was with great honor that my father allowed me the access as a child to witness many great people who have passed through the hallways at John Overton High. My father was born in East Nashville, moved out to Woodmont Boulevard, and attended Metro schools. He was a captain of the 1953 Hillsborough football team. He taught and coached for 30 years in the Metro schools. If you had to characterize him, firm disciplinarian, old school, but very fair. In regards to the action to name the football field Joanne Football Field in 2006, we believe this is very unfair. We have been told this was a legitimate action. We respectfully disagree. We have seen the emails and certain board policies weren't met. When you view the dedication of the stadium and field on the video in 1982, the director of schools was present, along with 3 other board members, 3 council members, the first Overton principal, and the first Overton football coach. There was 14 gentlemen in suit and ties with a very distinguished ceremony. At that time, the announcer said forever this field would be named for Nick Koutras at Athletic Field. In 2006, 2 other names were submitted by Overton. Mr. Alton Lincoln, concession stand, restroom facility at the Bill Tucker Baseball Stadium, and Mr. Bill Stanfield, a very distinguished administrator and beloved by all in the Overton community. These 2 individuals were presented to the staff and faculty for debate and approval. The other one was not. The naming of the football was not mentioned in the discussions for Stanfield and Lincoln. In fact, after the school board approved all 3 requests, the naming of the football field for Joanne Hood, it was not announced until 2011, 5 years later. This leaves us with the questions of why it was not publicized until Ms. Hood and Dr. Dillard retired. Dr. Dillard came to the Board of Education 1 month after Joanne Hood football field was named. If you were presented with these facts today, knowing that the naming of the football field did not include the athletic department, the Koutras family, or the faculty, would you vote in favor of this? Where is the transparency? The most basic.
Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to continue with our public participation. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, school board members. My name is Neil Amrine. I'm a resident of Davidson County and a member of the Percy Priest Public School Cluster. I appreciate your time. I know we're limited in time this evening, so I'll keep my remarks to the 3 minutes allocated. I'm also a father of a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old. I have a 6-year-old who just finished her first year at kindergarten at Percy Priest Elementary School. The reason I am speaking this evening is in favor of the Great Hearts Academy Charter School. I am in favor for a number of reasons, but I will narrow it down to 3. Number 1, it's clear that they have and continue to have proven a track record of a rigorous curriculum. Number 2, the Great Hearts Academy Charter School would be an opportunity for all children to participate in an educational experience. Number 3, it presents parents with a choice, additional choices. Currently, we have 11 charter schools in the Metro County area. Those 3 reasons are the reasons that I'm standing here tonight. I think we can agree on one thing, all of us in this room, and that is that we want the best for our children and we want the best educational opportunities available. That being said, Great Hearts Academies certainly accomplishes that and offers this opportunity and choices for parents like myself and students like my children. For a zero barrier of entry, an opportunity for them to pursue and for parents to select a curriculum that best fits their educational desires. The only qualifier is that you're a resident of Davidson County and a citizen of the public school cluster. It's my understanding today that we're challenged. We've got a little challenge ahead of us with regard to earning the school board's endorsement for a Great Hearts Academy charter application. I'd like to take one moment and ask the other supporters in the room to please stand and be recognized as individuals who also agree with the Great Hearts Charter. Thank you. It's clear to me that the support in this school system is not just in private schools and certainly not in certain elementary or public clusters. I'll close by simply taking a couple of paragraphs out of the strategic plan that was outlined, the 118-page strategic plan that was outlined by the Metro Nashville Public School System. And I'll quote, on page 115, action step number 3 and A state, it is our responsibility to identify perceptions of Metro Nashville Public School community and Greater Nashville community by investigating independent market research in the following categories: parents of current Metro Nashville Public Schools, parents of students attending private schools, and employees and students of Metro County Schools.
Thank you, sir.
Hi. I'm Laura Swanson. I'm a Hillsborough cluster parent. Just walked in, so I apologize. I'm got my notes, but I'm a little unprepared. But first, I want to thank you for your service and the tough decisions that lie ahead of you. The decisions you make on the charter approvals, not just Great Hearts, but all of the charter approvals that you have pending, given the large number of applications, and those in the future will deeply affect the school system as a whole and the overall health of our schools. I sent a rather lengthy email that I hope you received and had time to read, so I'm going to limit my comments as much as possible in the interest of time. I am here to urge you to vote against Great Hearts Charter application for reasons that others will probably state more articulate than me tonight. I'm concerned about the lack of specificity in the Great Hearts application overall. As I understand it, their application is vague as to where they will locate their schools. They held interest meetings in West Nashville. I did attend one of those, so I must assume some part of the Hillsborough cluster is targeted. West Nashville in particular, to me, is not needy for a new school. The existing schools are among the highest performing in the city, and the cluster as a whole, especially at the middle and high school level, is not overcrowded. Current budget requests include money for a Julia Green expansion, which should help to address potential future overcrowding at the elementary level. A number of schools in the cluster are open enrollment schools due to the fact that not enough zone kids attend the schools right now, despite the really good performance of many of the schools. Second, the Great Hearts application does not appear to specify how any of their individual schools will serve diverse populations. And if approved, it appears to be the intent to target a West Nashville school to upper income, mostly white students, a population already performing well overall in most existing schools in the system and the cluster. And finally, if funding follows the students, and funds will be pulled from the existing budget to fund a new school in the Hillsborough cluster, or eventually many new Great Hearts schools throughout the district, the application should not be approved until additional funding is made available within the budget to ensure existing schools, especially well-performing ones, are not negatively impacted. We seem to be creating a system of competition between our schools that really concerns me. Between magnets, charters, and traditional schools, but we're not providing an equal playing field between the schools. I hope this will be addressed as more choice schools are introduced into the system. I hope as you make your decisions for all the charter school applications, including Great Hearts, that your decisions lead to a future where we have a system of effective, well-attended, fully funded schools with student bodies that are representative of the overall population in Nashville. I hope you avoid making decisions that may create a system of school haves and school have-nots, as we've seen develop in many other cities, where some students have a chance for an exceptional education at a special school, Others have the opportunity for mediocrity at struggling traditional public schools, not allowed the freedoms of choice schools, and still more students have no choice at all but to attend a failing school because they are zoned to a failing school and their lottery number does not pull for a choice school or their parent cannot provide transportation to their school of choice. Let's work to build a system of opportunity for all students, not one of chance. Thank you.
Karen Meredith, I believe it's
Good evening. My name is Karen Meredith, and I live in the Hillsborough cluster. Thank you for giving me the time to speak this evening. I strongly support Great Heart Academies coming to Nashville. I have a daughter at Julia Green Elementary and 2 little girls who will start school over the next 3 years. I am also a pediatrician, and as the beneficiary of an excellent public school education myself, I feel passionately about having quality public school choices in Nashville. Great Hearts is an academically superior charter school that would bring another great choice and complement our current public school system. Great Hearts is one of the highest quality charter school organizations in the nation. Its unique classical liberal arts curriculum emphasizes the great works of Western literature and the Socratic teaching method. Great Hearts has an intensive second language program including 3 required years of Latin. The Great Hearts approach teaches students to think critically, synthesize information, and apply knowledge to new situations. Students today who are excellent thinkers and lifelong learners will be our great leaders tomorrow. Great Hearts has a superior track record in Phoenix. It ranks in the top 1% of all Arizona public schools, and 95% of its graduates attend a 4-year college. Over the past 5 years, almost 10% of its graduates have received National Merit Scholarships. Great Hearts is proving that each and every family, regardless of income or academic achievement, can have access to a great public education. Great Hearts has no entrance requirements, and its schools will have an open lottery in which anyone can apply. In Arizona, Great Hearts has a network of 12 schools dispersed throughout the greater Phoenix area. In Nashville, they are committed to opening 5 schools to serve all areas. Great Hearts is a proven success in Phoenix, and we need this option in Nashville. Currently, Davidson County is growing very rapidly, as you all know. Nashville Area Metropolitan Planning Organization estimates that Nashville will add another 1 million people by the year 2035. At my daughter's school, Julia Green Elementary School, the student population is projected to grow 35 to 40% in just 3 years, from 560 students today to over 700 students in 3 years. For comparison, the average size of elementary schools in Davidson County, as you know, right now is about 440 students. Magnet schools also need more classrooms. As you may know, there were 6,000 applicants for magnet schools this year. Only 1/3 of applicants of academic magnet schools were accepted, leaving hundreds on the wait list. Great Hearts will help meet this pent-up demand for more rigorous curriculum. Nashville is growing and needs more great education choices. We need Great Hearts. Thank you for your time, and please bring Great Hearts to Nashville.
Good evening, school board members. I'm here tonight as a parent to talk to you. And first, I want to congratulate the PR firm and the lobbyists who work hard to fill this room because, as you all know, we have done that many times, and it is a lot of hard work. I was hopeful that there would be a little more diversity turnout tonight.
Could you give us your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, Marley Albert. Sorry, Ms. Porter. Because I think the diversity is really what's lacking from this proposal. I'm excited about the words like choice and excellent and education. I have two children in Metro Public Schools, one of which is at a band concert, so I'm going to sneak out of here when I'm done tonight to go and see. And I like the idea of choice. I love the education that we have in Metro schools, but I'm really concerned about the idea of no barriers. I don't know how many of you have perhaps been to the Tony Sudicum homes or Casey homes or Napier, but there are barriers to education there. Transportation is a huge barrier to education. I don't want us to look at this proposal without taking really intentional thought about what we're going to do to help those children. There are bright, wonderful, engaging children across this county that want those opportunities, but saying there are zero barriers is simply inaccurate. I think if we truly want to close the achievement gap, we really have to be honest about the gap that's there. I think it's time to ask the hard questions about this proposal. Does it truly meet a need for all the children of MNPS? Do we really need to further resegregate our schools? If we are not intentional in the way this first charter is granted in its admission process, it will take years to correct that mistake, all while children are being left behind through that lack of intentionality. And not because they couldn't do the work, but because they didn't fit into the marketing design plan that Great Hearts has. Great Hearts will create another tiered system, and that's not what's good for our community, and it's not what's good for our children. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Martha Gallion, and I'm in the Hillsborough cluster. I'm a native Nashvilleian, and I graduated from Metro Public Schools, and I went on to teach both in Metro and in the private sector. But most recently, I'm the parent of a rising kindergartner. And my husband and I thoroughly examined our options for kindergarten for our daughter. We toured several private schools, but were quickly overwhelmed by the rising cost of private education in Nashville. We also visit our local public school, which has a great reputation. However, it is overcrowded, and that's very concerning to us, how that will be dealt with. Going through this process and discussing these issues with our friends who are also going through the same process, we found several reoccurring themes. One, the frustration of the private education and the overcrowding of several of the public schools in our area. Great Hearts Academy, with small class sizes, rigorous streamlined curriculum, and dedication to the community would have been a great option for us to have this year. So I hope that you consider that in your charter debate.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Holly Coltea, and I have a wish list. The promise of a traditional liberal arts education, a small class size, critical thinking skills, coherent writing, and confident public speaking ability. In this age of achievement gap mania, educators are now forced to shortchange some students in order to serve others. So many families are forced to pay or must pay $22,000 in order to get this wish list. After almost 20 years of living in Chicago and then New York City, it was time for my family of 5 to relocate to a second city where we could find good career opportunities, a relaxed lifestyle, and most importantly, good schools. Upon moving to Nashville, people directed us to only 2 school zones. Time and time again, we heard, oh, you can't live there. That school is no good. So our house hunt quickly narrowed. And we began to question our move. Did we make a mistake by not staying in the Northeast public school system? Enter Great Hearts. Singapore and Exeter math, Spanish, French, and then Latin, instrumental music, studio art, physics 1 and 2, writing a senior thesis. This is the curriculum of a globally competitive public school that simultaneously shapes my child as a person and as a human being, and not as a mathematics and reading test robot. Great Hearts' plan for 10 schools across our city, 5 elementary, 5 high school, promises one consistent, superior curriculum for our children. This curriculum guarantees that its graduates are ready for the finest colleges and universities in our country. And as we look across Nashville, where Great Hearts will locate its network of academies, I assure you that this top-notch curriculum spread across our city will bring new business, new talent, and new revenue in. New families and new business will choose our city over another. And in the end, Great Hearts will graduate thoughtful leaders of character who contribute to a more philosophical, humane, and just society. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Johns. I have 3 children, and one of whom is currently in Metro schools. I'm here tonight to support Great Hearts Academy because I want them to have choices. Considering the academic magnet schools right now and the considerable wait lists at each, that is the reason I'm here tonight. And what prompted me to do this and The reason I'm here right now is that a couple of years ago, I went and heard Dr. Register, I heard your State of Schools address, and there was a man in the audience who stood up and he was crying because his child had not gotten into hume fog. And you said, you were very sympathetic and very kind and warm to this man, but at the end of the day, it's a lottery. You asked him directly, what better choice do we have? What can we do? We have a lottery. We've tried to do the most fair route, taking the most fair route we can. And of course, he didn't have an answer or a solution. It's a problem. We have a need for rigorous academic schools, period. I think Great Hearts meets that need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bridget Butler, and I live in the Sylvan Park neighborhood, where my kindergartner goes to Sylvan Park Elementary in the Hillsborough cluster of schools. I too support Great Hearts for many of the reasons that were mentioned beforehand. Like some of those who spoke before me, I did a lot of research and visited many metro schools while preparing to send my oldest child to kindergarten. I believe Great Hearts has the most unique curriculum that I've found, and it is the one that I'm most interested in for my children. I also believe Great Hearts would provide the greatest continuity of education for them, continuity of curriculum and educational philosophy, which is something else I'm keenly interested in and would very much like to provide my children. I understand that not every metro parent may make the same choice as this school, this curriculum, or this philosophy for their children, but I feel it's very important that every one of us have this choice. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sterling Price, and I live in the Hillsborough cluster. I'm here on behalf of my wife as parents of 4th and 1st graders at Julia Green to express our strong support for the charter applications for Great Hearts. I truly feel it's a unique opportunity for Metro Nashville to partner with an organization that is committed to providing children throughout Nashville with an exceptional educational experience. To echo the points that have been made in terms of providing more parent choice, exceptional educational curriculum, and a potential to solve the overcrowding that exists in some of our schools. We've been extremely happy at Julia Green. However, as you know, the building and neighborhood are just not set up for that many children. I feel that Great Hearts, along with other chartered schools, can be part of an overall solution to help the overcrowding problem, not only in our area, but in areas throughout Nashville. I want to conclude by giving my sincere thanks to this board for tackling these tough issues, and hope you give it full support to this application. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Taylor Hummel, and I have twin stepdaughters that are 4th graders at Aiken Elementary, and I have a son that's about 5 weeks old now. But I am coming today from the organization Stand for Children. Stand for Children is for high-performing, meaningful charter schools. We welcome all schools into our district that are going to benefit our Nashville children. STAND also believes that one of the most important components to having a great education is strong integration and diversity within the classroom. Years of research will show you the social as well as academic benefits for having racial and socioeconomic diversity in education. As budget season is upon us, I want to acknowledge the financial benefits of diversity within education as well. A recent study out of Harvard School of Education found that for every $6,500 spent towards creating a diverse classroom setting, there was $33,000 return on investment for the community. We have read through the Great Hearts Charter application, and we believe that they have a plan for a very high-performing, academically rigorous school. Nashville Public Schools has a large achievement gap between its highest-performing and lowest-performing students. Because of its academic rigor and past performances, we believe Great Hearts could help close the achievement gap in Nashville by catering to our students most in need. However, in its current form, the Great Hearts Charter application does not have a comprehensive classroom diversity plan or plans to provide transportation to all of its students. In order to serve our students who are in greatest need, we ask that before Great Hearts is approved by the school board, they submit an addendum to their application outlining a more comprehensive diversity plan, as well as a plan to provide transportation to their students, as almost all charter schools in Nashville currently provide transportation. As I mentioned before, Stand for Children is for high-performing, meaningful charter schools that offers Nashville students a diverse, academically rigorous education. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Bob Nardo, and I am new to your fair city, the Athens of the South, so I'm told. And I've just joined you here after spending the last 8 years working in urban education in Newark, New Jersey, and on the south side of Chicago. So I come to you as a friend whose primary impetus in life, what makes me get up in the morning every day, is to help create great educational opportunities for kids who need us most. That's why I'm here. And I want to suggest to you that the conversation tonight might suggest you're facing a false choice, as if you have to choose between a great educational option and somehow diminishing social trust. And I want to assure you that I don't think that's the case whatsoever. And again, I say this as a person who's spent the last 8 years working in organizations that served 90% low-income students and helping our students become the highest achieving in Chicago and Newark. And I want to tell you about a school that I visited once. Last year, I visited a school that had an incredibly strong school culture, a feeling of tough love when you walk down the hallways, but a feeling of great enthusiasm. You walked into classrooms and you see kids deeply engaged in the lessons, whether it's speaking Latin amongst their peers, whether it's engaging in a really interesting physics lesson. My favorite moment as a former music teacher was seeing a little girl work her way through a painful violin solo, and every one of her classmates listened and applauded when she was done. This was a wonderful school that was data-driven in instruction. You walk down the hallways and student scores on interim assessments are everywhere, and students have a sense of ownership of their own learning and know what their learning goals are. And this was a school that had 84% students of color, and more than two-thirds of the students in this school qualified for free or reduced price meals. This school was Telios College Prep, a campus of Great Hearts Academies. It's the kind of achievement gap closing urban school that I've worked in and that I would love to see you bring here to be a friend and ally in your work to try to help close the achievement gap in this state and serve the kids who need a great education most. And so I think as you, as the Metropolitan Board of Education, think about a vision of a portfolio of great school operators meeting the needs of kids in your fine city, I think, speaking as an educator from elsewhere in the country, that you would have one of the highest performing, finest charter school organizations full of deeply committed public educators that you could find bringing Great Hearts here to join you in your work. So thank you for your hard work and for your time tonight, and I hope that you can find a way to make this great choice available to find kids in your city, just like they're doing at Telios College Prep in inner city Phoenix.
Thank you. You may begin.
Hello, my name is Megan Proctor. I live in the Cane Ridge cluster. I'm the PTA president at Maxwell Elementary. Dr. Register, you and I met recently at the Career Day, which my daughter was able to hear you speak. I'm very grateful for your time. In the role of PTA president, I'm an advocate for families. I'm here tonight in support of more choices for families in Southeast Davidson County, charter schools that welcome all families and for Great Hearts Academy's application as written. Families in our school zone will benefit from the presence of Great Hearts. Southeast Davidson County, as I'm told by our council person, accounts for 70% of new growth in Nashville, yet the school choices are limited there. You're building schools as fast as you can, and they're filling as fast as you build them. Academic and art magnets are not an option for some families who cannot extend their day by adding an hour or more commute each day. Working families struggle to drive across town to attend open enrollment schools. Those that can manage the transportation may still be on the waiting list. Everyone wants to live in an area with great schools. Great Hearts' plan to open 10 schools on 5 campuses offers the curriculum and extracurricular activities with the benefits of being just minutes from home, with all students in the family on one campus. Antioch truly needs Great Hearts Academy. My children will benefit from a more challenging academics. They need Great Hearts. Bringing Great Hearts to Nashville, and in particular to Antioch, will make the difference between my family staying in Davidson County or feeling we need to move to another county before my oldest child is in middle school. My family needs Great Hearts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bo Bartholomew. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you would line up as quickly as possible when the fifth person is speaking, okay? Thank you.
Thank you for letting me join you. This is my first school board meeting, so I'm enjoying the formality. My name is Bo Bartholomew. I am a father of public school children, but I come today as a local business leader. I started a company over 6 years ago out of my garage, and I'm happy today we employ over 50 new jobs here locally. One of the issues we've faced over the last several years is recruiting talent. A lot of the talent we need is not currently here, and getting people here has been a challenge. The number one thing we hear is about education. Something my wife and I are passionate about, something we're passionate about for the business itself and recruitment. But having been an entrepreneur myself, I don't believe things just because I'm told it in a PowerPoint and presentation. So I got on a plane and went to Phoenix, Arizona to meet with the leadership of Great Hearts, to look them in the eyes, to actually go visit the schools. I visited 3 to 4 of their schools and their academies. I will tell you that everything they say is true. In every school, both in the inner city and the suburbs, students got up, walked to the back of the room, shook my hand, looked me in the eyes, introduced themselves and what they were studying at the moment. I learned more about butterflies in the inner city at a Great Hearts classroom than I've ever learned about butterflies, although I hope my own children will teach me one day. I think the need and the challenges across our city are great. I don't think there's any one school, one charter organization, or one activity you can do as a school board that will solve it all. But I'm here to testify as an eyewitness to what I saw in Phoenix in multiple schools with complete diversity, that I think they have a solution that is truly delivers on what they say. The other thing I'd like to say is part of the reason I support Great Hearts, my wife and I, is because they're coming with a multi-campus, multi-school strategy. I think any one school can only affect a small piece, but to come with multiple schools serving multiple communities all across the city. We have most of our close friends are in East Nashville, and when we introduced them to the concept of Great Hearts, they wanted to embrace that and bring them immediately. I'd like to propose that you not only approve the application for Great Hearts, but you insist they open multiple schools at the same time across the city. This is not about one part of the city or another. It's not about any one community. This is about a great education with a group that has delivered.
Thank
for
you,
our
sir.
city.
Mr. Smith?
Hi, my name is Matthew Smith, and I live in East Nashville as part of the Stratford School Cluster. I've got 2 little boys. They're 2 and 5, so not quite school age. So I'm just here. I'm not politically connected. I don't know. I haven't flown anywhere to meet anybody, but I have gone to an interest meeting in East Nashville. And what I heard there and how I got to interact with the folks from Great Hearts convinced me that they know what they're doing. They have a great track record in Arizona and would be a great addition to our already great school system here in Nashville. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carol Ballinger. My husband Paul and I have 2 daughters in the Hillsborough cluster. The 9th grader is on the IB track, and the 6th grader is thriving at J.T. Moore Middle School. She just wishes so many of her friends were not leaving in the 7th grade for academic magnets and private schools. I find the Great Hearts format very, very appealing. I mean, what's not to love? The curriculum I love. I love the commitment that they require of their families and their students. I love that they have figured out their brand identity so clearly and are able to articulate what they're all about. But I have a really important question. how do you expect the zone schools to ever succeed when you keep creating reasons for families like mine to leave? There is no doubt in my mind that if the Great Hearts application is approved as currently applied, they will turn in fabulous numbers. They'll have huge waiting lists. They'll turn in excellent test scores. They'll raise impressive sums of money from their families. Everyone's going to be, rah, rah, this has been a success. But if you can't do that with a self-selecting group of highly committed families, you really have no business being in education at all. I ask that you insist for Great Hearts to amend their application before you allow them to come to this city and require that a certain percentage of their seats be reserved for the free and reduced lunch kids. I don't know what number to tell you to target. That's not my job. I don't know, 30%, 40%. What I do know in my heart of hearts is that if you don't require it, it won't happen. When you relinquish control of the dollars for charter schools, you have a fiduciary obligation, a fiduciary responsibility, and a moral obligation to make sure that the kids that need our help the most get it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nick Kuchar's football stadium and field. My name is Terry Anderson, and I was a 7th grader the first year that McMurray opened in 1964. I played football that year, and we played our games at Overton High School, and I started following Overton football. My junior high coach was Nick Kuchar's. That was almost 50 years ago that I started being a part of Overton football. From McMurray, I went to Overton in 1969. I was a senior captain on Coach Kuchar's first team. After teaching and coaching at McMurray for 4 years, I returned to Overton in 1978 to continue my teaching and coaching career. Almost all my life has been Overton High School and Overton football. I've been during this time I've seen so many people that have given so much of their time, effort, and money to improve the Overton football stadium and field and make it one of the best in the area. Our stadium and field stand out because of what was started in the early history of our school when the football boosters and coaching staff had to sign a banknote to receive funding for the startup of the stadium and field. In the late 70s and early 80s, the Football and Athletic Booster Club raised over $25,000 2 different times to build the current restrooms and press box. While I have been at Overton, the Football Booster Club and football players have done fundraising on 2 different occasions to redo the field and irrigation at a cost of over $20,000. The players themselves have resodded the field. The football field's a lot like a golf course in the summer. It takes work on a daily basis. The coaches have done nearly 100% of this labor. This means cutting the field almost every day. I know I can remember seeing Coach Kuchar's working on the field all the time. No one realizes how much time is involved. It is almost a full-time job in itself. In conclusion, first, this is not about Miss Hood. She is very deserving of being honored. We just don't feel like this is the correct way. Usually when a building or field is named after someone, it has the overwhelming support of nearly everyone in the community. This was not the case here. No one but a few people even knew this. We feel like this was a deliberate effort to keep all others in the community and the school out of the process. How could an athletic field be named after someone and not one person involved in athletics even be consulted? Would anyone even consider changing the name of the band room and not letting the band have some type of input, much less to name it after a coach? In all my years as a part of the Overton community and school, I feel this action could divide our school more so than anything that has ever been done. Mr. Stanfield, our former principal of more than 26 years, always did everything he could to make all of our programs successful and to make sure all our programs were supportive of each other. This naming has served to splinter the support of the different programs at Overton and divide our school and community, something that had not been done in the 54-year history of our school. The football field needs to be named in a way that has the support of the community as a whole, not just one segment of the community. Thank you.
Next, please. You may proceed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like for this gentleman to start with his presentation.
Good evening. My name is Donald T. McCord. I attended John Overton High School the first year that the Davidson County school system decided to bus students from one community to another community. I was upset at first because it didn't allow me to attend the schools that my sisters and brothers attended until I met Coach Nick Kutrus. Because of Coach Kutrus' hard work, dedication, discipline toward the football program, I received a 4-year athletic scholarship at Tennessee State University. Many times, Coach Kutrus would give me and some of my teammates a ride home after practice because our homes were not in walking distance of the school. Coach Kutrus was always about doing things in decency and in order. John Overton High School football field was dedicated to Coach Kutrus and placed in his name in the presence of Metro Board school members, in the presence of city council members, in the presence of John Overton community, the media, his family and friends, and others witness to the fact that John Overton football field was named Nick Kutrus Athletic Field and was to remain in his name in the future. To make sure that these was the words of the announcer during the reading of the dedication, I watched the ceremony of the DVD again on yesterday. And it was clear, crystal clear, that the field was named Nick Kutrus Athletic Field from that day and was to remain in his name in the future. Coach Kutrus is no longer with us in person, but he is with us in spirit. And to try to change the name of a field now that Coach has gone on to glory is out of order and definitely is not decent. Education teaches us to be productive citizens, but right and wrong is taught in the home. So I'd like to leave this with the board. Will your decision of the naming of the field be based on what is popular, or will it be based on what is right? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you at this time, please hold your applauses. Please. We have many, many speakers tonight, and we would like for you to allow them to do that. So with the next speaker, please begin.
Good evening. My name is John Little. Looking in this crowd, I have some pro friends who are Great Heart, and I have friends who are against Great Hearts. My experience that I do know with charter schools is I know people are asking for 40% of free and reduced lunch. What I do know, if there are 90 slots at Great Hearts, that if they have 91 slots, they have to automatically do a lottery. And the lottery is run by the Metro Nashville public school system. I'm for better education. I think that all of our schools are great, and I'm not here to deny one. I'm in favor of Great Hearts. I think what they're asking is already implemented here in the system, and they really just have to give them a chance. If they want free and reduced lunch, just my experience in recruiting, we go right into the community, we get applications, we turn them into the board, and then they do a random lottery where they pick the students, just like they would do at MEGS, Hume Fogg, MLK, or another magnet school. So I'm for Great Hearts. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Powell, and I live in the Donaldson Hermitage.
Would you pull the mic forward too, please?
I live in the Donaldson Hermitage area, and I have graduated 2 children through the Metro Nashville school system. And I'm here today to voice my support as children who have already gone on and graduated for the Great Heart School. I think every family of Davidson County, and especially the kids of Davidson County, deserve more schools that they can be proud of. I think Great Hearts is a good start, and I think having it added to the schools in our community will encourage others to step up to the plate. I, along with many others, make an humble request to the board that you approve the Great Hearts. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, please.
My name is Nathaniel Reveal. I have a daughter at Bellevue Middle and a son at Harpeth Valley Elementary School. And I came here tonight to share their story with you. When my daughter was at Harpeth Valley, she, like most kids, applied to the magnet school lottery for 5th grade. After the drawing, she was over 200 on both the Head and Meg's wait lists. Surprisingly, most every other member of her Girl Scout troop won the admission lottery to at least one academic magnet school, and some to both. That is a hard thing to explain to a 9-year-old. In the weeks after the lottery, the children shared their plans for 5th grade with each other. Some kids were headed to the magnet schools, others to secular private schools, and others to more affordable parochial schools. Some moved a few miles down the road into Williamson County, and some stayed to join Bellevue Middle. My wife and I are pragmatic people. We find that things are rarely as good or as bad as advertised. And this is something we've tried to teach our children. My daughter enrolled at Bellevue Middle. Her first day was pretty grim, but then she walked into John Waters' band classroom. My daughter hadn't thought of herself as a musician, but by the end of the day, she came home inspired. With Mr. Waters, there's an instrument for every kid, and a kid for every instrument. He took the time to audition each kid on each instrument. Some kids discovered they had the lips needed to play the trumpet, and other kids discovered they had the temperament needed to tackle the bassoon. My daughter, it turns out, has a knack for the clarinet. For now, she's found her place in Metro Public Schools, but many of her friends have not. They looked at the available options and simply went elsewhere. There wasn't an instrument that they could play. My hope is that by approving the Great Hearts Charter, the school board will give the families of Davidson County another way to join Metro Public Schools. Next year, my son starts the same lottery process as his older sister. He has no interest in the clarinet. Instead, he's partial to an instrument called the erhu. It's a 2-stringed Chinese fiddle, and I hope there's a place for him. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sarah Gavigan. I have a daughter at Julia Green in the Hillsborough cluster. It's a wonderful school. My daughter's very happy there, but she doesn't learn the way that Julia Green teaches. I had the pleasure of visiting Great Hearts last week as I was visiting family, and I was so impressed with the children that I met and the experience that I had. It rang true to my own experience. I was very fortunate to have a Socratic liberal arts education. And I stand here in front of you today because I had that type of education. I grew up in Tennessee, and I did not fit into the Metro curriculum education. And I was lucky that I got the opportunity to seek a different type of education. I would like the same thing for my daughter here. I would like for her to be here in Nashville having that education. So I ask you, the board, to please consider having diversity within the curriculum within Metro Nashville schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lauren Hitch. I live in East Nashville in the Stratford cluster. I hate public speaking, and my son is only 16 months old, and yet this issue is an urgent one for me because it's about my child's education. Great Hearts held an interest meeting in my neighborhood, and I was hooked, and you all would be too. Of course, I hope that they would open a neighborhood school in East Nashville eventually to serve my diverse neighborhood. So thank you for your time and consideration of the charter, and I hope in the future we're all able to commend you all for bringing Great Hearts to Nashville and for raising the bar for education in our great city. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bonnie Sermi, and I grew up going to public schools, and during undergrad, I got the opportunity to have a classical education. And so I've seen firsthand how beneficial that was in helping me to learn how to look at the evidence and be able to consider things and learn how to think more critically. I came to Nashville and earned a PhD, and since then I've been teaching at the Tennessee Technology Center, teaching a biomedical program. And several of my students have recently graduated from high school, and I wish that they had had an opportunity like this because I believe that it would have equipped them better for not only further education, but also going into various career paths. And in addition, my sister teaches at the Great Hearts in Arizona, and so I've heard stories from her and been impressed at seeing the quality of their science curriculum and also the respectful attitude that the students have towards their teachers and peers. My husband and I live in East Nashville and would love to see the Great Hearts come not only to East Nashville but other parts of the city as well to be able to serve a diverse population in our city. I also think that bringing Great Hearts into Nashville not only benefits those who are actually at Great Hearts, but it has the opportunity to inspire and provide opportunities for the rest of us teachers, like myself, to learn from techniques from the school that has been successful. So my hope is that not only will it be beneficial to Great Hearts, but something that the rest of the public schools and other education systems here in the state can learn from them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kristen Harney. I live in the Hillwood cluster in Bellevue. I would like to speak tonight in support of the Great Hearts Academy. I am a mother of 3. In the fall of 2013, I will send my first to college, my second to high school, and my youngest to kindergarten. In 10 years, I have only once, yeah, that's right, kindergarten. In 10 years, I have only once had 2 children at the same school at the same time. I write 3 checks for Invest in Your Child, work 3 spring fundraisers, attend concerts and sporting events for 3 different venues. The idea of a K-12 school model offers families like ours the opportunity to spend time with our children, not just time transporting our children. But convenience is not the only reason that I support the Great Hearts model. When we moved to Nashville 10 years ago, we were astounded by the idea that most of our peers viewed the public school options to be unacceptable. The daughter of a public school teacher and the product of a public school education, I could not fathom the idea of sending my children to private school. Instead, I researched and found magnet and zone school options that worked for my children. I could not have been more surprised when 2 years ago, after 3 difficult years of struggling, we chose to move our daughter, Claire, to a private school. Concurrent with the birth of our child, we noticed that Claire's behavior and emotions were becoming raw and her grades and motivation were suffering. Being clear advocates of public education, we had never even considered the private options and literally stumbled into St. Anne with no real expectations. Claire's grades did not instantly improve. However, what changed in her was far better and an important lesson for us. Claire became a lover of learning. She became a motivated, conscientious doer with a desire to succeed. I wondered, what are they doing here that made such a difference for Claire? One day on our way to church, I overheard a conversation between Claire and 2 friends. They were discussing the decoration of their lockers. Claire reflected that she was not permitted to decorate her locker. Astonished, they said, well, why don't you just close it quick and lock it? Claire said, we are not permitted to lock our lockers. Again, surprised, they asked, how do you keep people from stealing your stuff? And Claire responded, we're not permitted to steal. This short discourse reminded me of where she had been and how far she had come. Claire's expectations of behavior had changed, and she had changed because of it. She had been exposed to quality, character-driven instruction. The educators at Great Hearts Academy have organized their schools around a similar model: small classroom sizes, whole families served on one campus, locations within a reasonable commute. But more importantly, the curriculum itself fosters a conversation about the value of strong character. From the required reading list to the organization of the chairs in a classroom, Great Hearts has created an atmosphere that is conducive to quality learning and character growth. It is this intangible, immeasurable quality that changed our daughter's future for the better. I have seen how a school culture that values character education equal to academic can change lives,
Thank you.
And I hope that you will support this choice.
Thank you.
Well, for those of you all who know me, I am not Brandy. I am Erica Lanier, the chair.
Miss Lanier,
Mhm.
you're not on our list.
Right, Miss Crosby had a family emergency and asked me to stand in and read her letter.
Okay.
And I have copies for all of you as well. And if time permits, I also have a solution because, of course, I never come before you with
You
a
have 3
problem and a
minutes.
solution. All right.
We have 3 minutes.
To the distinguished members of the school board, I have been having problems with Pearl Cone and Entertainment Magnet High concerning the junior varsity cheerleaders. My daughter was a member of the 2011-2012 JV squad. On September 2nd, 2011, I paid a fee of $350 for a uniform that was issued just 2 weeks before the football season was over, and we still have not received the warm-up pants for the jogging suits. On the day I paid the fee, I was informed by the coach, Ms. Spicer, that the uniforms would have to be returned at the end of the school year. I asked if the parents would have a chance to repurchase the uniforms after the next JV team had gotten their use out of them, and I was told that might be a possibility. In mid-February 2012, my daughter called me upset from school to tell me that she had been pulled out of class in the middle of instruction and threatened by the assistant coach, Ms. Dates, with retaliatory measures. The girls were told that if they did not bring back the uniforms, they would not be able to try out for the 2012-2013 cheer squad, get their grades, or graduate. On February 22, 2012, I spoke with Dr. Threadcraft and Coach Spicer via speakerphone. I was told by Dr. Threadcraft that it was tradition to return the uniforms to the school. After that conversation, I called central office and gave my complaint and received a complaint number. On February 22, 2012, I also sent Dr. Threadcraft an email asking for an itemized receipt of the uniforms and accessories. I still have not received a response. When I was contacted by central office, I was told that someone would be getting back to me as soon as possible. However, I have yet to receive that call. On April 19, 2012, I attended a PAC meeting where I addressed Dr. Register with a problem and was referred to Mr. William Collier. I contacted Mr. Collier and was told that he would contact me when he figured, quote, this mess out. He contacted me later that week to tell me that I could keep the uniform. However, when I inquired about the other parents' complaints and what they should do, I was told by Mr. Collier that he did not know what to tell them to do. In my opinion, the way the situation has been addressed is unacceptable and unprofessional. I feel no concern was shown for our children's feelings or their parents' finances. Due to the problems I have had, I request that a policy be created across the board so that no other parents or children go through this ever again, and I also request that all uniforms be given back to the parents that asked for them. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Mrs. Brandy Crosby. I think I'm under 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jack Harrington. It's a pleasure to speak before you in support of Great Hearts this evening. I have been part of a community group that has been encouraging Great Hearts to come to Nashville since last fall. My wife has also been involved. She traveled to Phoenix to visit some of the Great Hearts schools with some other Nashville parents. I also know from my attendance at community meetings, as well as knocking on doors in various neighborhoods of Nashville, seeking support for Great Hearts, that the support for this program is broad. I know that if you put a very balanced view of the Great Hearts opportunity in front of a group of people, the vast majority of them will ask for it and seek the choice in Nashville. They are only seeking to open 5 schools, and as such, they will not be an answer for every student in Nashville. But if we're going to hold all of our new educational reform opportunities to the standard that they must be an answer for every student, then we're not having a real discussion about reform in Nashville. The Great Hearts schools are highly rigorous academic programs. They are not for every student. Every child does not seek to study this hard and to spend the hours studying in the evenings. This is a program that is for students who seek very, very high academic achievement. And I can assure you from knocking on doors throughout the neighborhood that appeals to students in all parts of the county, from all backgrounds, all socioeconomic classes, all races. This is something that is needed in Nashville, and it's desired by all Nashvillians. It would be good for all of Nashville, and I encourage you to accept their application this month when you review the applications. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Susan Saban. I'm a resident of South Nashville. I have 3 children, a 2, 4, and 6-year-old. My 6-year-old is just finishing this year at Granbury Elementary. And when I learned about Great Hearts Academies, I pondered it for quite a while, and my support grew as the days went on. And really my support is based upon a few points. In my son's kindergarten class, there are 24 kids and 1 teacher. I'm really concerned about the individual attention every child receives in his class. And as I'm hearing other parents talk, I think this is a common problem over the district. And so it's something that's in South Nashville too, not just in West Nashville. So I really would love to see Great Hearts Academy come to the district, and especially in our area. They have committed to having a student-to-teacher ratio of no more than 15 students to 1 teacher. So I really think that's important that kind of ratio is important to foster the development of our children as they're growing up. Second is, I haven't heard anybody touch on this. Great Hearts Academies, it appears to me that they offer foreign language at every level from kindergarten through 12th grade. And I think with the globalization of everything that around us, and with the increasing diversity in our district, is very important for our children to acquire skills to speak other languages and to be able to communicate. So I really support their efforts to offer this. I think the schools now that offer foreign language at a very young age are really not prevalent in South Nashville. So I thank you for considering this application, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Terry Patton. I'm proud to be an MNPS parent. We're doing a lot of things right at MNPS, and things are only getting better under Dr. Register's leadership and the work of the transformational leadership groups. My family is a private school convert family, having educated 2 of my husband's children at private schools and then having our last 3 children attend Julia Green. I'm in my 18th year as an MNPS parent. After being told time and time again that we could not educate our children in Nashville's public schools, we've found that to be absolutely not true. In fact, we've become so comfortable with our neighborhood schools in the Hillsborough cluster that our 2 youngest daughters are 100% public school girls who currently attend Hillsborough High School, and where I am serving this year as the PTSA president. Both girls could be at Hume Fogg as we turn down Meg's lottery spots for both. We hit the lottery by being in neighborhood schools that are diverse in wonderful ways that provide our children and me with so many experiences to help them live in a global, real-world society. I personally wish that Meg's, Hume Fogg, and MLK did not exist. These are considered great schools with great students and great teachers. Students and teachers that I wish were in our neighborhood zoned schools. Neighborhood schools sometimes have difficulty in staffing smaller classes for higher academics because of the brain drain from magnet schools, as well as Nashville having twice the rate of the national average of students attending private schools. Last year at Hillsborough, a student went off campus to take a physics class because his schedule would not allow him to accommodate this higher level science class at Hillsborough. The same issue applies at times to math classes, and this is sometimes an issue at all of our zoned high schools. Another comparable magnet-type school would continue to push the perception that a family must go outside of neighborhood schools to get the best education and would further drain the neighborhood schools. Ironically, West Nashville has 2 high schools, one that focuses on advanced placement classes and the other is Hillsborough High School with the International Baccalaureate program. Graduates from Hillwood High School this year are headed to schools like Vanderbilt and Washington and Lee. Hillsborough's IB Academy had a 100% graduation rate last year, an average ACT score of 25, when each student had an average of $46,000 in scholarship monies. And Hillsborough High School is not at capacity of 1,350 students. Neither is Hillwood High School at capacity. In fact, a large percentage of the student population at Hillsborough is out of zone. 48% of Hillsborough students are free and reduced lunch, and free and reduced lunch students do participate in the IB program.
Greeting, Dr. Register and board members. I'm Councilman Wayne Dominy. Here to talk
Speaking
about.
to your mic, please.
Will that
Thank
work?
you. Thank you.
Otherwise, I have to bend over. Greetings again. I'm here to talk about 6 words: more quality choices for all families. I ask you to support Great Hearts application. There's concerns about diversity within the school, whether that be socioeconomic or ethnic or racial. I can give you a solution for that, and I hope the applicants are listening. Locate their first academy in Antioch. It's diverse in all those categories. It's needed to have choices for our families. I ask for your support, and I'm finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will take a 20-minute break. And if you feel your point has already been made by a previous presenter and you don't wish to stay, then you may take your name off the list if you so desire. Or if you'd like to leave us with a written statement, we will read it into the record. Thank you. We will take a 20-minute break and we will be back. With Denise Jones, and if she's here, and the rest of the, remember again, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please line up in groups of 5. When the 5th person gets up to the podium, we're going to ask that the next group will please line up. This will help to expedite time, and I'm trying to be cognizant of the fact that some of you have small children and you would like to get home before in a reasonable time in order to put them to bed or say goodnight to them. So thank you so very much. Are we ready?
Hi, my name is Denise Jones, and I live in East Nashville. And I support Great Hearts School because I think it's a different kind of experience for kids and a better opportunity for them to learn because it's more hands-on, it's not as crowded. And that's about all I got to say.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jones. Okay, the next person. Next person.
Hi, Ms. Jones. I live in Antioch area right now.
What is your name, ma'am?
Stacey Jones.
I don't believe we have you on our list.
Yes. I know the other 3 people are not in attendance. I submitted that list.
Okay. All right, sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
Please
It's
accept
okay.
my apology. I'm looking down. When you said Ms. Jones, I looked down at Denise, and so it's not your fault.
That is
It's
perfectly
mine.
fine. It's okay. I live in the Antioch area right now, but I was born and raised in Nashville, East Nashville, and grew up in the Stratford cluster. I am for Greater Hearts. I know one of the most interesting things that I found out about the school was that they wanted a school within 20 minutes of anybody in Davidson County so they can have access for it. So I think that speaks to the point that they want everybody to have that open opportunity, and it has the open admissions and the open enrollment for everybody. And if recruitment is done correctly, the school will be very successful, and all students will be have availability to be into the school and access to the school. So I'm for more opportunities in the school that comes and wants to provide a quality education with Metro, partnership with Metro for all the students here. I'm for it. So I'm for Greater Hearts, and I'm pretty sure they'll be successful. So thank you.
Thank you.
My name is James Buckner. I live in East Nashville. I support the Great Hearts. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson? Okay. Ms. Leverson? Okay, McFarland? Shelton? Sims? Aiden? Roan? Ligon? Anderson? Garner? Oh, Anderson, is that you? I'm so sorry. I mean, we're on a roll.
No, I get it. I get it. Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Register, board members. My name is Vanessa Garner. I live in the Hillsborough School Cluster. I support the Great Hearts Charter application as written. I have a son at Julia Green and a daughter who will enter the public school system in the year 2013. I am supportive and very excited about MNPS growing and working with Great Hearts to further good educational opportunities here in our great city. I'd like to echo and repeat what Councilman Dominy said, more quality choices for all families. This may not become a personal issue for my family. I'm not sure if Great Hearts would be a good fit for either of my children. They're too young, but I am sold on the idea of it. I think it's important for this community, and I hope that you will move forward with the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, again, please, if you see your name on the list, please come forward.
Hello, my name is Gabriela Mancia. I'm here to support the plan of bringing GHA to Nashville. Metro schools provide a quality education to the Nashville areas. There are 122 schools educating approximately 74,000 students. But with the quantity of students and campuses there are, the attention to the alumni might not be enough to stretch the talents that each individual student could bring to the community. That is why I come here to support the plan of building 5 charter schools called Great Hearts over the next 7 years in the Nashville areas. Those schools will reduce the number of students in the metro areas, giving the teachers more quality time with each individual student and giving the students in the charter schools a chance to obtain a higher type of education. Also, the level of education will go up in the state of Tennessee because there will be a better communication in both charter schools and in metro ones between teachers and students. Plus, the metro schools will open up new job opportunities to many teachers and faculty members. Many students will be thankful for the opportunity you all might be able to give them. I hope you all consider having another great school come to the state of Tennessee. And thank you for working hard and taking your time to make decisions that will affect the future of many students' lives. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cesar Bautista Sanchez. I've heard a lot of great things about Great Hearts. I'm for Great Hearts. I've heard about parents just want a better education. I heard that it's going to help the Tennessee area, but I also believe that Great Hearts is not only going to bring African Americans, Asians, but Latinos, and you're going to have all these different races just coming to this school along with all these other schools. And I believe that with this we can unite and make Nashville like a little bit stronger, put more volunteers out there to do community service with this school. I believe that Great Hearts can teach them to become a much better person, and that's what I wish. So I go for Great Hearts.
Thank you. Mr. Martin Capristi? Escoto? Lopez? Nikki Johnson? Christopher Smith? Jessica Reeves? Michael Cheney?
That's me.
My name is Michael Cheney. I'll get the microphone. I am from Antioch. I live in the very south part of the county. I'd like to thank the board for listening to everybody speak. I know it's kind of boring to hear the same thing over and over again. But at the same time, those of us who are in support of this want to make known that there is wide support in this county for more school choice. After hearing the opposition speak, it's clear that there really isn't any real opposition to this. The thing we keep hearing over and over again is that Great Hearts is not doing enough to ensure diversity. In fact, Great Hearts is doing plenty to ensure diversity. They are planning on building 5 schools, as they have made quite well known, around this county. Their plan is to make sure that there's a school within 20 minutes of every house in this county. That alone will ensure all the diversity that we need. And I do believe that diversity is a good idea in schools. The other comment that I heard that I found kind of amusing was someone said this will increase competition in schools. Thank God, we need competition. Competition in every area that it is introduced to in society increases. It does not decrease, but it increases the choice, but not only the choice, but the level of excellence in anything, be it business, academics, whatever. So we need this choice. We need more charters, not less. I believe that Great Hearts has a good plan, and I think that they make it abundantly clear in their information that they will do a good job. They have done a great job in Arizona. They will do a good job in Nashville. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Your name, sir?
My name is Jack McKenzie, Overton graduate 1984. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak this evening. To be clear, I support honoring Ms. Hood and her accomplishments. I also support protecting the integrity of the original naming action for Nick Koutras. But most importantly, I support transparency and community involvement in the actions impacting Overton High School. There is a solution to this issue, but it needs to be a solution that brings the Overton High School family back together. With this in mind, I simply ask that the current process be terminated and a committee of Overton community members be charged with recommending an alternative solution to honoring Mrs. Hood. Please do what's right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. My name is Taneka Vircher, and I am part of the McGavick and the Antioch cluster. I'm a proud mother of a second grader at Una Elementary and a senior at McGavick High School. I'm also proud of MNPS for offering choice. I would like to make one last plea, and that plea is for Great Hearts to come to Antioch. Antioch is a diverse area, and many Antioch students are already enrolled in charter schools that provide transportation. We lack many private school options that are not affiliated with religion. It is an area ripe for the option of a charter school like Great Hearts. This evening, we have heard a lot about concerns for racial and socioeconomic diversity if Great Hearts put its first location in the West Nashville area. Their concerns are noted and valid. If you decide to locate in West Nashville without a marketing plan for diversity or any commitment to diversity through transportation or an allotted percentage of lottery slots. Again, Antioch is an area rich in diversity. There is no doubt that you would have 2 applications for every open slot, as you or any school that you should want. This diversity could be achieved very simply by where you locate the school and working with local organizations to market your services. Great Hearts, this is your opportunity, your chance to quell the concerns of Nashvillians that doubt your desire for diversity by bringing your first school to Antioch. Great Hearts, this is your chance to quell the concerns of Nashvillians that believe that you will cherry pick students as part of your recruitment efforts to bring your charter schools to our area. Antioch wants you, Antioch welcomes you, and the parents were willing to work with you. Do the right thing, come to Antioch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, school board members, Chairman Porter, and thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for your service that you give to the community. We know that you're being paid well. Hello, I'm Vivian Wilhoy, former council lady for District 29. My husband and I are a product of the public school system, and we are proud parents of 2 sons that has benefited and continue to benefit from the Metro Nashville public school systems. I had the pleasure of being invited to the Great Hearts presentation held at Miller Martin Center. The presentation was impressive, and I must say that I liked what I heard until I saw the Great Hearts film. The film placed me back in the time before desegregation. Yes, I was only 5 during that time, but my parents did well and educated me on the time of desegregation. The reason why I say that is because there was not one person of color that I saw in the film. I believe in diversity, but the film that I saw that night showed no diversity, 0. So I asked myself, what is Great Hearts' objective? Is educating all of Nashville children their objective, or is it certain children of Davidson County? To give Great Hearts a chance, I did a little research. I've learned that Great Hearts, home base in the state of Arizona, did have 1 out of 12 schools that they operated that was diverse, and that school was not even one of its best schools. It didn't make great strides. Still, I asked myself, what is Great Hearts' objective? Now Great Hearts has an opportunity to be a good steward of the taxpayers' dollars that they're asking for and show that they're about providing a free and appropriate public education in their proposed charter school. Unlike all the approved Davidson County charter schools, Great Heart is proposing to not provide transportation. Why would our public government approve an application for a charter school that will use all of our tax dollars without requiring a commitment to diversity? Why? Providing transportation is critical. How else will the at-risk child get access to the free and appropriate public education that they will be offering with all of our tax dollars, and as well through their charter school? They must be committed to providing transportation just like all other charter schools that have been approved. I join here in support of Great Hearts, but I reiterate that Great Hearts should be held to the same standards that of previously approved charter schools, not be the exception. Otherwise, MNPS will once again be the center of a lawsuit similar to that is presently being litigated as we speak that surrounds race. Another point I want to continue as a speaker before me is the fact that Southeast Davidson Antioch has the greatest need for such a school like Great Hearts. I live in Nashboro Village Golf and Tennis Community, and as a result of the gentrification taking its toll, Southeast Davidson is diverse in every way. While God is the head of my life, still for many, there are no private school options for those seeking a school unaffiliated with religion. Southeast Davidson, specifically Antioch, has little school choice of this nature. Great Hearts can show its commitment to providing a great education, free and appropriate public education by choice of location, thereby choosing the area in Southeast Davidson as its spot. I ask you again to please consider the commitment to location as well as the commitment to diversity in this application. Thank you.
This ends our public participation. We will move into governance issues. Dr. Gentry.
Okay, consent agenda.
Move on.
Okay. Consent agenda. A, approval of minutes, April 10, 2012 regular meeting. B, designer supplement number 1 for Hermitage Elementary School additions and renovations, Gobble Hayes Partners Incorporated, L-2428. C, change order number 1 for roof replacement at Antioch High School, Don Kennedy Roofing Incorporated, M-450. D, change order number 3 for ADA improvements at Whites Creek High School, Edwards Construction Incorporated, M-419. E, change order number 4 for Cane Ridge Elementary School, new building construction, Beaumar Construction Company Incorporated, M-475. Item F, change order number 4 for Cane Ridge Elementary School, site work, R.G. Anderson and Company Incorporated, M-472. G, awarding of bids and contracts. 1, A Plus Education and Training Incorporated. 2, Alignment Nashville. 3, American Alliance for Innovative Schools, LLC. 4, eSchool Solutions. 5, Rocket Learning. 6, Seacoast Center for Education. 7, Sims Strategic Diversity Consultants. And 8, Vanderbilt University. Item H, request for easements, Waverly Belmont property, Hill Southeast. I, recommended approval of the renaming of East Literature Magnet, naming of schools committee, second reading. J, recommended approval of the career and technical education application. K, recommended approval of career and technical education special courses. L, recommended approval of career and technical education special textbooks, teaching as a profession, and air traffic control. M, recommended approval of requests for compulsory attendance waiver. And N, recommended approval of legal settlement, case number 310-CV-857.
And the amount of that again?
In the amount of $48,000. This concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Gendry. Do I have a motion?
So moved. That we
Second.
accept.
We have a motion and second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And now recommended approval for 2012-2013 revised operating budget and Finance Committee. Does anyone have any questions from Mr. Hayes?
This evening, the Finance Committee met to approve or to review a $2.5 million reduction in our proposed fiscal year 2012-2013 operating budget. It passed unanimously. I've dropped a copy for those who did not make it to the meeting on your laptop, so I hope you have it. Mr. Henson is available for questions if you have questions, if there are any questions. If there are no questions, I'd like to make a motion for approval.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions? No questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, now we're down to number 3, recommend approval of farm to school resolutions.
Madam Chair, Mr. Carr is not present tonight, so I'd recommend that we hold this agenda
Okay.
item until next meeting.
Thank you. Okay. And number 4, student disciplinary appeal.
And that, okay.
Madam Chair, the board must review the record, which we have done so, and then the board should or may grant or deny a hearing. With or without a hearing, the board may affirm or overturn the decision by the hearing authority below. The board may not impose a more severe penalty without a hearing. I would like to propose that the board, after a review of the complete record, which was done earlier, deny the request for a hearing and affirm the penalty as determined by the level 2 hearing officer.
Okay, do we have a second? No, this is for...
Second.
Second.
Any questions? Or any questions to our legal? Then all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Student disciplinary with JD, number 5. JH.
The board met earlier, and again, this decision is that the board may grant or deny a hearing, may also, with or without a hearing, the board may affirm or overturn the decision by the hearing authority, or the board may not impose, a more severe penalty without a hearing. The board, after a review of the complete record, denies the request for a hearing and affirms the penalty as determined by the level 2 hearing officer. So moved.
Do we have a second? We have a second. Any questions? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No opposed. Motion carries.
And the the third and final student disciplinary appeal, which again, the board may affirm, may grant or deny a hearing. With or without a hearing, the board may affirm or overturn the decision by the hearing authority. And the board may not impose a more severe penalty without a hearing. I present the motion that the board, after review of the complete record, which has been done previously, deny the request for a hearing and affirm the penalty as determined by the Level 2 hearing officer.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Any questions? No questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Director's report, please.
Madam Chair and members of the board, due to the length of the night's meeting so far, I'm removing all reports except for one, which is a very important report tonight, and that's a presentation on our Diversity Business Enterprise Program. I want to recognize Mr. Henson to start this conversation and presentation to the board. Chris?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Register and school board members. We appreciate the opportunity this evening to come and present regarding Metro Schools' DBE, or Diversity Business Enterprise Program. It's been a couple of years, I believe, since this program was presented to you, previously presented by Rob Horton with 3H Consulting, and we felt that because of the announcement from the mayor that we are hopeful to receive some significant additional capital funding in the coming year, that this would be good timing to go over our Diversity Business Enterprise Program with you, looking at where we've been with the program. The program is now about 10 years old, where we are, and then looking forward, particularly with your approval this evening of the contract with Sims Diversity Consulting. So I'm going to turn this over in just a moment to a couple of other people who are going to lead us through the presentation. But first, I'd like to make a few introductions. You'll see the agenda of what we're going to cover, the history of the program. We're also going to be talking about the current contract that the board has with GCA for our custodial and groundskeeping services, and particularly concentrate on the Diversity Business Enterprise content of that contract with GCA. Also, the outreach and vendor information that we provide regarding the program, and then looking forward to future plans and considerations. First, I would like to introduce the co-presenters with me this evening. The first, Ken Murdoch. Ken, come out from the shadows. Come over here. You've met Ken at our work session on capital funding and our capital budget before. Ken has now been with us for about 1.5 years. He is the Director of Facility Planning and Construction. Gary Appenfelder, to my left, is the Director of Purchasing for the school district, has been with the school district now for, hard to believe, 2 years. Akila Christian, if you'll stand. Akila is in the Facility Planning and Construction Department. Akila has been handling this program in-house over the last several months, as we have had a pause in our capital funding where we've not had any new projects in place. Gwen Sims Davis. Ms. Davis. Again, this is the contract you approved this evening for Sims Strategic Diversity Consultants, and we'll talk a little bit more about her, both history and looking forward. And then Michelle Lane is the Metro Director of their Business Assistance Office, the BAO. She was intending to be here this evening. We received an email from her late this afternoon that she was not going to be able to attend the meeting.
Thank you. In the presentation tonight, we want to look at our diversity program, including some of its history. And we'll be considering consolidated information that includes both the construction side of the district and the non-construction or purchasing side. In 2002, the Facility Planning and Construction Department adopted a policy to promote diversity within our capital construction effort. The firm of Sims Associate, headed by Gwen Sims Davis, was selected to help create and then to manage that program. And Gwen looked at all we were doing in construction and our methods and our scope. She reviewed the status of minority, women, and small business enterprises in the area, and she crafted a program that we thought would work well to help us promote diversity. The key components of that program are still in effect through these 10 years, and they're being implemented pretty much the same way, even though we've had some changes in the management. And the key elements of that program that we'd present to you tonight include a number of things, including a policy statement. This policy statement was adopted. It's been on our website and is posted on our website. We have it here in the presentation and in your handout in full. But in lieu of reading throughout the entire policy, we want to point out a few things. One is that the policy stresses to provide maximum opportunity for all minority, women, and small business enterprises within our construction effort. It also encourages and promotes full, complete opportunity for any business opportunity, and it strives to not discriminate against anyone or any group on the basis of race, color, sex, national origin, or any other basis prohibited by law. And then finally, the DBE program is non-discriminatory, and it promotes equal procurement opportunity across all aspects of our procurement. We make a lot of effort to ensure that no one is prevented, and as important, that no one is discouraged from participating in our construction efforts. Some of the other key activities include a website. We maintain this website that has all information about upcoming projects, about all the policies, the procedures, the forms, how to do things. That's available where diversity firms can completely fill out and be aware of our program. Secondly, we maintain a database of all the interested and capable firms that we are aware of, and we include that so that general contractors know of these people and can include them in upcoming projects. And another key component is our instruction to bidders that's written clearly defines the entire program, but beyond that, we attend all pre-bid conferences where the bidders are there before they submit. And we make sure that the contractors and the subcontractors clearly understand the scope, the reasons, the how-tos of our program, so that when they submit their bids, they're in full compliance of what we're trying to do. Another piece that is a key component is just our outreach. We reach out to all firms to make them aware of the program, to let them know what we're doing, and again, to encourage their participation. And then finally, we require that the general contractors submit monthly reports regarding their participation. We consolidate those reports, and then we submit them to Metro's Business Assistance Office. So those are some of the key components. There are many other specifics, but those are the things that kind of define the nature of our program. Looking back at history, in 2007, our contract with Sims Associates ended. Ms. Davis accepted a position as Commissioner of General Services for the state of Tennessee, and the contract was not renewed. But we entered a contract with 3H Management, Rob Horton, as Chris had mentioned, to continue the program with the same similar processes and forms that we had put in place originally. And Rob participated and helped us by expanding our outreach to contractors. He got very involved in our bid processes, and he worked to really improve and expand our database, and he contributed to our effort a great deal.
I'm going to pick up a little bit of the history starting in 2010, and for those of you who like football games where the lead changes frequently during the game, you're going to love this presentation, because Ken and I are going to flip-flop back and forth, not too many times, but frequently enough so you don't get bored with either one of us. In 2010, notably, we, the district, voluntarily adopted the purchasing non-discrimination program of Metro government and applied all of its requirements from that point until now and in the future against all of our posted requests for proposals. And what that means is that Any company that is submitting a proposal must do two things. Number one, they have to contact the Business Assistance Office at Metro and get a listing of all the minority and women-owned businesses registered with Metro that satisfy the commodity code requirements of the solicitation that we posted. Number two, they have to contact at least 3 of those companies to explore any opportunities for subcontract work. They're not required to actually end up subcontracting, but they must explore the opportunity. And that's called the good faith effort reaching out. It's the same way that Metro applies the program today. The Business Administration Office monitors this process that we conduct and assures compliance of it. They review the proposals to make sure they're responsive and then give us the results. In addition to that, for all of our posted solicitations, whether they're invitations to bid or requests for proposals, we give evaluation points to any companies that either are small businesses or have small business content in their proposals. So they do get that opportunity. Ken, back to you.
In 2011, Rob Horton advised that he was going to terminate his contract with the Facility and Planning Construction Group in September of 2011. Rob had been very helpful in enhancing our aspects, and personally he spent time with me making sure that I understood the history of our effort and all the specifics of it. And at that point, realizing that there was virtually no construction activity happening. In fact, since Rob terminated his contract, we have not had a single construction project bid. We've had one RFP for professional services, but no bid. So with this minimal activity, we decided to bring the program in-house. Akila Christian took over the program. She had been working with Rob and providing assistance to him throughout the years. And so she managed the program. She continued to support contractors and subcontractors in making sure they understood how the program worked. She collected the reporting information and consolidated it, and then she has submitted all the quarterly reports to Metro since Rob's exposure. Since Rob's departure. During this interim, during this interim period, we gained great insight into our own program by managing it ourselves. And we've learned more about it. We've seen some things we want to improve. But now that we have expectation that our construction activity will start up and grow, we're reaching out again to Gwen Davis in the contract that you've approved to request her help in managing that program.
And I'm back. On the slide you see is we felt obligated to provide at least one slide that had a gazillion numbers on it, so this is it. What you see here is a consolidated picture in numbers, both in dollars and percentages, of what the district has achieved over the previous 3 fiscal years and the current fiscal year to date. So the far right-hand column is this fiscal year, but it only includes the first 3 quarters. There's quite a bit of variation quarter to quarter on what the numbers look like, so it's not reliable to just extrapolate the dollars or the percent based on what you see here. But reasonably, we could expect that we'll finish this year approximately where last year was, plus or minus, which would be in the neighborhood of $60 million spent with minority, women-owned, and small businesses, being 1/4 of the dollars we spent. And I'll give you a few minutes to look through that.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what the percentages are countywide in this distribution? Like how many companies are minority owned, how many are owned by women, how many are small businesses?
Just the general demographics?
Yeah, it's just how does this reflect with the statistics of our population?
I don't know offhand, but we can certainly get that information and we'll provide it to you.
Okay, thanks.
As Ken mentioned before, this information in actually a more granular detail is provided every quarter to the Business Administration Assistance Office at Metro, where they, as they do it, post it on their website. We also post it on the district website at both the construction and purchasing website pages. So anyone wanting to see a breakdown in more detail of this can view it at those locations.
So you said it's on Metro website?
Yeah.
Our
Metro collects this information and posts it on the Metro website along with all the other divisions of Metro. So the hospital administration.
Metro government or Metro schools?
Metro government, sorry.
Metro government.
It's on the Metro government website. It's also on the Metro schools website.
Okay.
In the 2 department locations of purchasing and construction.
Gotcha.
Anyone need to view that slide anymore?
No, I think we're finished.
Busy enough? Okay. Whoops. Okay, as Chris mentioned when doing the introduction, I want to spend just a few minutes talking about the GCA contract for custodial and groundskeeping services. That contract is unique for the district in that it contains a requirement for minority and women-owned business content from GCA. In other words, they are required to subcontract portions of their business on the scale that's shown there. It begins at 4% in the first year, escalates up to 10% in the final year, 5th year. So far in the contract, they finished the first year and met the requirement. And by the way, that's not a target or a goal, that's a requirement. On this fiscal year, they are well on track to slightly exceed the requirement and should be on a track by the beginning of the school year to meet or exceed the 3rd year requirement. This compliance, if you will, to the contract is something that's also monitored by the Business Assistance Office at Metro on a monthly basis. So who are the companies that they've been subcontracting to? Well, here's a list of the primary ones, not all of them. The first 3 on the list, Devmar, Building Maintenance, and Diversified Chemical, all provide custodial supplies, which is probably what you'd expect that they would be getting. But the bulk of the dollars they spend are with the bottom 2, Reynolds & Reynolds and Best Way Janitorial. Those 2 companies perform 100% of the custodial work in the schools that are listed here. GCA maintains the oversight, management oversight of those schools and the activity of those subcontractors, but the subcontractors themselves perform the service. And GCA, and therefore, is performing a mentoring activity with them and is planning to expand their business and perhaps introduce other similar contractors going forward.
Is this Reynolds & Reynolds out of Franklin or Williamson County?
Honestly, I'm not sure of their location. It's local. But I'll find out for you.
Okay.
The other thing to note about Reynolds & Reynolds and Best Way Janitorial, not only do they provide the services, they receive the same weekly scorecarding from the principals of the schools they serve. They receive the same audits, internal audits that GCA performs. They are reviewed at our quarterly joint review committee meetings that we have with GCA in performance. So they are looked at both separately and in aggregate with overall GCA performance. Now, Ken mentioned a little earlier that we also are involved in outreach other than collecting data and nice numbers. One of the aspects of outreach is for years, the district has participated in a number of events, symposiums, forums that are put on by a variety of organizations. I've listed a few of these here, and you can see that in that list there's a combination of ones that are sponsored by various departments of the Metro government, including the mayor's office, as well as independent organizations in Nashville and Davidson County that put on events for the promotion of diversity procurement or vendor access to procurement. It's a great opportunity for us to actually attend, be present, and give the potential vendors or small businesses, diverse businesses, the opportunity to speak with us one-on-one, find out very simple questions like, how do I go about doing business with the district? Where do I register to be a vendor? What kind of things do you need? And do you need the things that I've got? It's a very productive two-way communication. As I said, we've been participating and we'll continue participating in those. I'm going to turn it back over to Ken to close out.
One other key aspect of our outreach is our websites. You've heard us mention those, and we want to just continue to make those known, make sure that the public's aware of them. But on these websites, for our construction side, again, we have our bid calendar. Any bid that's going to happen, we get notice out. Besides advertisement in the newspaper, we want to make sure that you can go on our website and learn about projects that are coming up. We track our current projects and list them. And then, as we've said, we have all the information, all the forms, all the processes that someone would need to participate. And then finally, we do, as we've said, show the statistical data of our program. On the purchasing non-construction website, again, very, very much the same. And we just want to make sure that people are aware of that and that we get that out and make it available to people. Moving forward, we're very excited about Gwen's rejoining our effort, and we're excited about looking at a number of aspects of our program that we can improve on. We're going to be very active in looking at any activity that can help us. We want to evaluate it to make sure it works for us and our program, but we don't want to limit it. And here I've listed some of the things we're going to be looking at, all of our policies and procedures, just making sure they're current with the marketplace today and how the marketplace is reacting in this area. We want to take a look at our certification sources and make sure that we're using not only the right ones, but all the ones that certifies women and minority and small businesses so that we don't leave anyone out of an opportunity. We want to continue to improve on our database. We want to remove firms that are no longer active or maybe no longer in this area, and we want to include anyone that wants to participate with us. And then we want to continue reaching out through networking. And finally, we're going to question whether it's time for us to start a mentoring program and to start training programs. We're doing that through websites now, but whether we should have active training sessions to make sure that all DBE firms are aware of our program. Then we want to improve our compliance audit and our reporting so that the information that's provided to us by contractors is verified closely so that it's real opportunity being demonstrated. And we'll use a process very similar to the process that Metro's PNP program is using to do that. We want to take a look at our construction delivery method. Right now we're a low bid fixed price method. We want to see if there are other methods that might tend to more maximize participation from minority and women and small businesses. And then we're going to look together, Gary and I, at standardizing our programs, both in terms of how they work, process, reporting, and also look at whether it's the right thing to do to have Gwen's effort and her scope increased to include both programs as we move forward. We think we have a very strong history of promoting minority women and small businesses. We look forward to continuing that and improving the effort for MNPS. And we thank you for your interest and for your support. And we'd entertain any questions that you might have.
Any questions, board members? You've done a thorough job at pulling all this together. We certainly appreciate that. It's not always easy. How many people are in your department?
9.
9.
I have
That's a
10,
lot of work.
including myself.
Yeah, you're, okay. That's a lot of work. I mean, to coordinate all of this and do it effectively, it takes a lot of hard work. And we want to say thank you. And to Ms. Davis, as the board, we would like to say thank you for working with us and participating. Did you have anything you'd like to say? Mm-hmm. Sure, come on. That's quite all right.
Good evening, Dr. Register, Chair Lady Porter, and all my friends and great members of the board. I am very excited because since 2002, the face of diversity has changed greatly. I'm also happy that your team of great guys back here have decided to combine the procurements, because when we first did this program, we were concentrating just on the construction piece of it. Best practices in developing programs like this include everything that you purchase, everything that falls within the realm of procurement. So to bring this program together and create some consistency, to also communicate it a little bit better, to add some new components to it, I think we can beat Metro's program.
I agree.
I
agree.
We've spearheaded the effort on the stadium project. And I talked with Mr. Henson this morning. This whole thing about diversity, I take credit for coining that phrase, because when we did the program on the stadium, it was always minorities and women, and certain groups were saying, I feel left out. At that time, because I was working in other areas, diversity got to be a really, really big issue. And when you look at diversity, you're not talking about just one group of people. You're talking about a lot of people. So we want to make our programs inclusive of all. So that's how we came up with the phrase of diversity business enterprise. And the concept that you see on the new convention center is the concept that started on the stadium years ago. So I do like to take credit for that. And of course, during my time in state government, when we went in and we looked at the program that the state government had, which really wasn't a program, we found a lot of issues. We identified the barriers, and I believe in working with all stakeholders in collaboration, because diversity is a subject that everybody needs to be involved in that discussion. You have to sit down and talk about it, and then communicate it in a way where people understand it, because we don't want people to think we're doing set-asides,
Right.
and we don't want it confused with affirmative action.
Right.
So I'm excited, and I'm excited to work with your team. And like I said, we're going to beat Metro.
Well, thank you, Ms. Davis, for working with us, and we look forward to working with you even more in the future. And Dr. Register, I think we have made a little history here, because I don't ever remember having a female in our in this department. Maybe we've have we, Chris?
Well, she's a consultant, and she was a consultant back in 2002. So
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
not a stranger to Metro.
Yeah. Well, we certainly appreciate all that your department has done, and the gentleman here. Thank you so very much. Any questions?
Just an observation, I think Ms. Sims Davis is a great addition to our consulting group, and we do expect to lead the state of Tennessee, don't we?
Any other questions? Thank you for that wonderful report.
And that concludes my director's report.
Okay. I would like to recognize Councilmember Jerry Maynard, who has really been pushing very hard with us on this piece, and we look forward to you working with us even more. Okay? And I failed to recognize Congressman Cooper had a representative here tonight as well, and I failed to recognize her. So at this time, I want to recognize Kathy Buggs. I think she's already left, but we wanted to do that. Okay. I don't have anything as the chair's report, but go to announcements.
Thank you. I would like to share some information with the board and our audience. Two of our high schools each received a financial donation in the amount of $250 from the Nashville Area Association of Family and Consumer Sciences. The schools are Antioch High School, where Mr. Brian Mast is the principal, and Mrs. Patricia Dees is the advisor for the school-level program. And the other school is Whites Creek High School, where Carl Lang is the principal, and Miss Sonia Patterson serves as advisor for their program there. The funds are designated for the use of the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America chapter at each of the schools for the purpose of offsetting costs incurred to enable family and consumer sciences students to attend the recent state meetings. So we want to recognize those schools and applaud those advisors for their work with those students.
Dr. Brandon, you have anything? Okay. Mr. Noah? None? Okay, I have one or two. First of all, I would like to say that our own marathon runner did a wonderful job in competing in the 26-mile Music City Marathon.
Sorry, I had to do that.
But as always, we really enjoy watching Mr. Henson, and of course, he was there holding up the banner, so we congratulate him for finishing that race, and we certainly look forward to next year. Did you want to say anything about the race?
Just like Dr. Ginger said, don't forget about that last point, too.
Yeah, that point too? Yeah. Just one or two things. The annual retirement reception is Friday, May 11th at 3:30 p.m. at Martin Professional Development Center, so please put that on your calendar. Service award this year, board and doctored register will recognize employees with 30 and 40 years of service doing a luncheon on Monday, May 21st at 11 a.m. We've never done this before. This is a new venture for us, but I think it's a good one. And we want to congratulate all of these employees. In our board meeting, we will not have a board meeting on May 22nd, but rather May 29th at 4 p.m. We will start the meeting by recognizing student excellence. We will honor our valedictorians, salutatorians, and merit scholars. After the recognitions, we will continue the meeting to receive the charter school recommendations. And also, I would like to remind us all that, graduation is approaching very quickly, and some of us will start next Thursday night. So we invite parents, friends, and those that are interested in going to see wonderful students parade the stage. This is your opportunity. So that completes my announcements.
Either no further announcements or agenda items, I move we adjourn.
All in favor, Lee?